You're in a cell. 4 impenetrable walls keep you enclosed in a small space. It's hopeless to escape, so you make do with the space that you have. One day, as you're going about your regular routine, something accidentally moves you out of position. This unforeseen circumstance puts you up against the wall. When that happens, though, something strange takes place. You notice that where you initially expected a heavy impact with the wall, you simply place your foot down and received no resistance from the prison cell. You look around and see that you actually have a bit more room than you thought. Maybe you miscalculated. The room seems to be a bit bigger, though. Some time passes and something similar happens. You accidentally overreach and the cell adjusts to your feet. It gets larger, giving you more room. As you start to notice this phenomena, you start testing the boundaries of the cell. Maybe there's more to this than I thought. You begin intentionally pushing yourself against the walls. Each time you do it, your cell increases in size, giving you more room. I think if you do this enough times, you begin to realize that there is actually no prison cell, that there are not 4 impenetrable walls, that what you thought were barriers were actually just illusory lines in the sand. You can keep walking past the lines and redrawing a bigger box for yourself, but at some point, you understand. There's no point to redrawing lines if I'm just gonna erase them. I'm just on the beach, and there are no lines, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. Most people live inside a mental box, a box that acts as a prison for their mind. The walls made up of their personal beliefs, defining what's possible for them. Limiting beliefs become your actual reality. Whether it's about finding love or being truly happy with life, who you could be as an individual, or what you could accomplish. If you don't think these things are in the cards for you, you simply won't try, and they won't happen. The closer those walls are, the smaller that mental box is, the harder it is to have hope, the less agency you feel. Something that bothered me growing up was noticing that people had a tendency to say that they care about things in the world, but actually have zero interest in trying to impact them. Maybe because they don't think they can. Maybe because they secretly don't care. Either way, it was obvious to me, based on their actions or lack thereof, that they did not believe they could make a meaningful impact. In my time, it would happen when disaster strikes somewhere in the world. Everyone would hashtag Haiti on their social media and then pat themselves on the back. They would judge anyone not doing it as a bad person or insensitive. I'd think to myself, what the fuck is hashtagging Haiti gonna do for the families that are actually suffering? Do you guys actually even care? Would you actually hop on a plane and get in the trenches trying to make a difference? It seemed to me that they were pretending, playing a role to fit into a group or something. Something similar happened when George Floyd dies and everyone was putting their black screens on Instagram to show solidarity. If you wanted to have an impact, you would do more than just boycott a thing or stop using that specific product. You wouldn't waste time moralizing at people for not putting hashtags or black screens. You would start by thinking deeply about what you don't like, why you don't like it, and then try to take the set of actions that would give you the best chance at making an actual impact. Zero effort virtue signaling to pretend you are a good person, to fit into the club of accepted people or popular people out of fear or desire for power is actually pathetic. People think that the great things in life, the big things, the things that matter, are outside of the realm of possibility to affect or control. People think that changing their identity and becoming someone exceptional is out of their control. People convince themselves that the identity they created for themselves in their teens, their accidental, on-purpose self-creation, is set in stone, and they subconsciously become trapped by their idea of themselves. If the majority of things are impossible to solve, then the best we can manage is to pretend that we're doing something of value rather than actually doing something. To play pretend like we're playing characters rather than becoming individuals of action. A while back, I wanted to organize an event. I wanted to organize it for the sake of its effect, as well as for the message it would send my friends. I wanted to explain the idea of the mental box in an experiential way, so that it would penetrate deeper than words ever could. I wanted them to see that even a small group of regular people could end up having an enormous effect on the community. That just 10 people would affect more than 100 in one night with minimal effort and minimal cost. I wanted to feel understood. I explained my plan in detail to each individual, including the message. I did this as an experiment to see what they would say, to see if their opinion would change. They all said the exact same thing, that they're fully understanding what I'm saying, what I'm trying to convey about the mental box, but that none of our other friends would understand. They all independently did, though. The plan was to do it 3 years in a row, that the first time I would handle every detail and simply invite them along. The second time, I would encourage them to participate further by contributing time and resources. The third time, I would put them in charge of their own team so that they would have some agency and responsibility. This 3-stage plan was made with the purpose of increasing personal agency each year, such that it would feel more and more like their project and less like mine as the years went by. Ownership would make it more likely that the message would be understood because, as long as it's my thing, they can relieve themselves of thought and the feeling of accomplishment. The impact would be reduced. The events took place, and honestly, I'm unsure that it had an effect. It seems they did it more as a favor to me because they're my friends. But who knows? Maybe in the end, they did all understand. Maybe I shouldn't underestimate them.